This video is going to be talking all about half saddle pose in yin yoga. So half saddle is a great alternative to full saddle pose. If you find full saddle challenging, which pretty well all of us do, or if it's just completely inaccessible for you. So we target one leg at a time. The sensation is slightly different to full saddle pose. However, we can still target this deep stretch across the front of the knee into the muscles on the anterior compartment of our upper thigh, the quadriceps, and across the front of the groin and along the front of the body, along the stomach. So targeting the stomach and spleen meridians in Chinese medicine, which belong to the earth element. Okay, so let's have a little look at how we can approach this pose. So for half saddle, we'd like one leg extended and the other foot by our outer hip. Now, for some of you, this is not going to be possible because of restrictions in the ankle, restrictions in the knee, or just not being able to get that foot to the outside of your hip. Okay, so the way that we can get around this is, what I'm going to show you on the other side, is we can take that extended leg buttock onto a prop and then sit on the other foot. Again, if this is too intense in the front of that ankle, then take yourself up a little bit higher again onto another block, or maybe cushion underneath the front of the, swapping around here, the front of that ankle with a little bit of a rolled up blanket or the likes of. Okay, so from here, I'll carry on demonstrating here. From here, you can take your weight back, and yep, I'm already feeling this stretch here in the front of my thigh, and that for me could be enough today. Maybe this is where I want to stop. You can experiment with one arm by coming down onto one elbow and reaching that arm of the bent knee away somewhere overhead, and kind of play about with the angle of the torso and just notice how that moves the stretch around that anterior compartment of the thigh. And it may also offer a little bit more of a stretch into the front side of the belly. Okay, now if you are comfortable coming down with that ankle on the outside of your hip, then again, hands, we experiment with elbows, or you may want to see about coming somewhere onto your back. So if you have a bolster, you might want to set it up lengthways along the mat. If you don't, which many of us don't, then it's okay just to set up some cushions maybe, or some blocks, and try it coming back like this. And you can really make a mountain out of all the cushions that you've got laying about. And again, we take our arms overhead. Maybe you can take a very light pull of that wrist, but not a yang-like pull. We're not yanking it, just encouraging it over to see how that feels. Or maybe even the other way. Who's to say that won't make a difference in your body? Or of course, we can just be straight down the center. Now you may feel comfortable enough to come all the way down onto the floor. Now, unlike saddle, which will give quite a strong stimulation to the lumbar arch, the arch of the lower back, this can be a little bit softer on the lower back. However, you still, in some cases, might need a little bit of propping under the lower back there. And then we can play about with the knee position. So do we want the knee a little bit more out to the side? What happens if we play about with the arms? So urging you to really play about for the first, 20, 30 seconds when you're coming into the pose. until you find that first sweet spot that you can settle into. Or not so sweet, as the case may be, but that place of stimulation where you're stimulating enough to be aware of it. However, you're not stimulating so much that your muscles are switching on and gripping, particularly in your groin here, in reaction to the pose. So that place where we can just be still with it. You can even bring your hands onto your belly in half saddle and follow the breath flowing in and out, a really nice way to ground down into this somewhat challenging pose as we work with this very tight muscle group on the front of our thighs and also the hip flexors in the groin. And following the flow of your breath really grounds us into this earth energy as well. And of course you would spend longer here there than I am today, but for the sake of demo, I'm going to come out now. So if you're all the way on the floor, such as I am, you might want to draw that other leg in and roll out onto the opposite hip, bringing your knees into your chest for a moment before rolling onto your back and either bringing yourself to constructive rest pose or to a shavasana for a rebound for a few moments. Now, if you were higher up in the pose, then I would just urge you to tiptoe your hands back up, lean again onto that extended leg hip, release the leg and come to seated. And it's always nice to give our knees a little bit of a massage after saddle variations. And you may choose to simply rebound seated with your legs extended, or again to come all the way down onto your backs. So I hope that helped, and thank you very much for watching. Namaste. Bye-bye.